Okay, it's my turn. I don't know what to say. Will you learn to keep away? If not, my nunchucks pack a punch. I'll beat you up just in time for lunch. Speaking of lunch, we going 6 or 12-inch? Doesn't really matter. I'll go Hawaiian in a pinch.
We are ninjas. We are brothers. We're united. And we're strong. We are ninjas. We are turtles. We are heroes.
The Legend of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Part 1, Chapter 21, Beginning. Written and performed by Joseph Chambers and based on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comic books created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. It had been 5 days since April had witnessed the true extent of the turtles' powers. April found herself standing outside a manhole cover waiting for a giant rat to take her to his secret lair on a lightly drizzling Monday afternoon. She wanted to laugh at the obscurity of this. Then she questioned whether it really was that obscure. She concluded, actually, if like her, no one else told anyone about the mutants they met, how would she know whether it was common or not? For all she knew, her Auntie Kerry often congregated with mutant squirrels and had just failed to mention it. She had told her mum and dad she was seeing friends. Technically true. Just because she failed to mention her friends weren't human and that they lived in the sewers didn't make her a liar. Not really. When she arrived at the lair, she saw that only Michelangelo and Splinter were present. As it turned out, everyone else was on a training mission on the roof of some high-rise apartment block. "Why did you let them go to the surface on their own?" April asked. Master Splinter responded with, "I have to install the idea that I trust them, so I have made them train on their own." "And do you trust them?" April countered. Splinter chose to ignore this and pronounce the word right. April wondered what this meant, but when she saw Michelangelo and Master Splinter bowing, she followed suit. Splinter then spoke, and April noticed a deliberate change in his tone of voice. It was as if he had become far more serious and loud when he was a teacher. In fact, it was as if he had 2 separate personalities, father and sensei. April wondered which was closer to the true persona of the rat. This is April's first lesson, so it is best to cover the basics. First, we must establish a correct stance. April put her hand up. "Yes, April," Master Splinter responded patiently. "Why do we have to bow?" "It is because we are showing respect to each other and the art of ninjutsu." April raised her hand again. "There are 2 of you in the room and therefore no need to raise your hand." April lowered her hand slowly. "Why do we need to be in stance?" Splinter nodded to Michelangelo and then, with a lot of force, Michelangelo pushed April to the floor. What was that for?" April scowled at the pair of them, returning to her feet. Master Splinter answered with, "To prove that stance is important. In a normal standing position, your centre of gravity is at an almost complete midpoint. Therefore, any force applied will be more likely to topple you." "I see," April announced. "So if I lean towards my opponent, the forces are more balanced." "Wow, you're smarter than you look," Michelangelo praised. "Thanks, I think," April responded. "Lean forward and bend your leg, keeping your front foot straight but having your back foot bending slightly outwards. Keep your back and neck straight and facing forward. Don't worry about your arms, we will focus on one thing at a time to begin with." April did this. Michelangelo then attempted to push her again, and she successfully resisted by leaning further into the stance as he did so. "One thing, dudette," he commented. "If you're going to have your hands fisted, your thumb should be on the outside of your fingers." "Why?" "During my first ever ninja lesson, I hit a punch bag with my fist like that, and it broke my thumb in 2 places." "I have never heard screaming quite that loud before," Master Splinter recalled. "Somewhere between a howler monkey and a banshee, if I remember correctly. I was 5 and it really hurt, Michelangelo clarified. Alrighty then, thanks for the heads up, she replied, cringing at the thought of splintered bones. Speaking of splinters, why do they call you Splinter? April inquired. One of the first ever moves I showed my sons was the breaking of a wooden block. Splinters went everywhere and the name just stuck. They trained for another hour and April found learning how to fight not only enjoyable but somewhat liberating. She learnt several basic kicks and punches as well as a few stretches, and although she failed at attempting some push-ups and sit-ups, Master Splinter reassured her. The rule to gaining quality with most tasks is practice, practice and practice again. It is simply not possible to become any kind of ninja in 5 minutes. After her lesson, she was walked home with Splinter, and she asked again where they came from, her intrigue requesting satisfaction. I must commend you on your persistence with this topic, Splinter said. Sorry, I never meant to intrude. I understand if you don't want to say. I suppose if you haven't told anyone of our existence so far, I may as well trust you with further secrets. Splinter took a deep breath as if he didn't really want to say what he was about to, and then began. Once upon a time, I was an ordinary sewer rat in his prime. I was foraging for food one night, and I came to a strange glowing fluid. Naturally, I was attracted to the bright colours, and instinctively drank some. I found myself growing at an unnaturally rapid rate. My features became more human, and I became significantly more intelligent. I soon found myself lonely and shunned from the world, so I stole 4 young turtles from a pet shop. I let them swim in the mutagenic fluid, and they became my sons. I knew I had to protect them from the world's hostility, so I taught them ninjutsu, from what I was able to learn from having snuck into the air conditioning vents of a local dojo and spied on them, as well as from TV, movies, books and the internet. This is also how me and my sons learnt how to speak, act and live like normal humans, despite our rough start. April found this hard to believe, but decided to trust the rat, as she wouldn't have even believed mutants could have existed a few days ago. Why wouldn't her instincts be wrong about this too?